Hello and welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Marketing. I am your host, Gwen Montoya. I am a marketing and business strategist, and I help you market better. I am actually kind of surprised about today's topic. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I wrote it. But I'm surprised that I haven't covered it before. I actually went back through my episode list, and I've talked about this so many times with clients and, offering support for people online who have basic questions about this. But I'm actually legitimately shocked that I've never covered it here in a podcast episode. And that is going to be all about local SEO or search engine optimization. So if you have a local business, especially if you have a brick and mortar business, or you see clients or sell products locally, like local to your area, there is some really cool SEO stuff that you can do that gives you a little bit of a leg up over businesses who don't have a local presence. So that's what I want to talk about in today's episode. I'm going to be sharing some ways to make sure that your local SEO is as strong as it can be. And let's get into it. So number one is your website. Now, obviously, I am a proponent of believing that people need a website. I think you just do. You need to make sure that it is clear and easy to use. If you do not have a design background, my best advice would be to find a template that you like and change as little as possible about it, because somebody already designed that. Somebody already was paid to design a beautiful template, and you can just swap out your information. If you have a design background, then you already know all the things. But if you just don't have a design background, the easiest way to create a beautiful website is just to follow somebody else's template. And most website builders already have beautiful templates that you can modify. I'm also a big fan of pop-ups to collect email addresses. If you really despise pop-ups, go ahead and put a text box either in the footer or in the banner or somewhere on your page so that somebody can sign up to learn more about you. Because even though we are going to be talking about local SEO here, that's search engine optimization, we still want to grow our email list. Because when somebody visits your site, you don't have a way to contact them. But if they join your email list, you do. And that's probably the biggest advertisement really for an email list that I can give is you get to talk to somebody when you want to on your terms. For local SEO, there are some ways to optimize your website that are simple and easy to do, and a lot of businesses just don't do it. The first thing you want to look at is putting your name, your address, and your phone number in the footer or the header of your website. What that means is that your name, your address, and your phone number will then appear on every single page of your website, because when you put something in the header or the footer, when you make new website pages, that header or footer should automatically populate for you. You want to make sure that the address is the same everywhere. So if you always use suite number or you always use number to designate which spot is yours, if you always spell out Southwest or you always use the abbreviation SW, make sure that that's the same everywhere. It sounds so simple and so easy and so silly. But as smart as algorithms are and search engines, they're still computers. They're still machines. And they can understand things better when it is the same. That's the easiest way to explain it. So wherever you put your address, make sure that it is the same. Same with your phone number. Obviously, your phone number shouldn't change. But, and I will talk about this in a little bit, sometimes things get mistyped in different places, and I will show you how to correct that in just a minute. We also want to put your hours on your website. If you have a brick and mortar business and you have hours, like somebody comes to your business during certain times, make sure that your hours are on your website. That's going to do two things. Mainly, it's going to do one thing. It's going to help customers who find you. Because then when they go to your website, they're going to be able to learn more about you. They're going to know when you're open, when you're closed, your phone number, and how to find you on a map. All of those things are very good. Next on your website is your title tags, and you can find those within your website program. They're going to be in a couple of different places depending on your platform. This is a big signal to search engines to tell them what this page is about. So you want to make sure that you are including local information in your title tags. There's definitely an art to this, and it's a little bit challenging to go through without actually seeing everybody's website. But imagine what somebody would search for, right? So if somebody is looking for clothing and they live in let's say Boise, Idaho. When they go to search on Google, number one, knows where they are, which is a little creepy, but they do. So it will kind of automatically pull up things that are local to Boise for that person, and maybe even local to their side of town. But when you add that information to your title tags, it's just sending a stronger signal to a search engine that this is clothing and it's located in Boise, which then theoretically should pair up better with the search term that person is using. So if your title tag is, women's clothing boutique in Boise, and then the name of your business for one of your title tags, that's going to help you get found. And your title tags should all be different on every page. So really think about what that page is about and the search terms that somebody might use to find that page. Because a lot of times when we talk about SEO, when we talk about search engine optimization, we talk about it as if a website is one giant unit, right? And it is, because it's all tied to you, but search engines kind of see each page as its own individual page. So you don't necessarily rank entire websites, you really focus on pages, which is why when you talk to an SEO person for a local business, a lot of times they'll ask you if you're blogging. One of the reasons is it can be hard to rank an about page or a home page for a business in a local area. But it's a little bit easier to rank a blog post page because you can get more specific. You can add more keywords, you can add more links, you can just do more things that make search engines happy. Which is not to say you have to blog, but it is something to think about for your local SEO. And there's a lot that I can do an entire podcast episode, and I think, on blogging. You can go back and find those. So when you are thinking about your own web page, or your own web pages, your own website, think about the words and phrases that somebody might use to find you, and then make sure those are sprinkled in your copy. That's all SEO optimization is really making sure that the words and phrases that somebody might use to find you are actually on your website. And if you go back and you decide to read up on this on your own, make sure that you're reading things that are probably 2020 and older, or newer, not older, because there have been different methods and there have been different ways to do this that were best standards at the time, but are no longer best standards and can be kind of spammy. So if you're researching this on your own, make sure that you are reading content that is published in the past couple of years versus something that is 5 or 6 or 10 years old. It's just changed so much. So that's probably the best thing that you can do on your website. You can also optimize your images, meaning make sure that your images are compressed. You can use an image compressor. Just Google that online. There's lots of options, especially if your website has really image-heavy pages, because it's not a matter of how big the photo looks to us with our human eyeballs. It is how big the photo looks to the computer, to the algorithm, to the AI, whichever term we want to use. And they see things differently. So the easiest way, rather than trying to figure out if an image is compressed, just run all your images through an image compressor. Most of them are probably not compressed. It's very easy to upload that and get that taken care of. And again, it's very low-hanging fruit as far as optimizing a website. It's very fast and easy to do. Highly recommend it. And while you're messing with your images, change the names of the files, because it's really easy to forget that each file on our computer or on our website has its own name, right? So if you're naming files or you're not naming files and it's just a series of numbers.jpg, it's harder, impossible really, for a search engine to understand what that photo is about. But if you rename the photo to red dress, boutique, Boise, right? All of those are search terms that somebody might use to find what you do if you have a clothing boutique in Boise. So when you do that, it helps search engines understand what that page is about and what that image is about. That is very, very easy to do. You can also change the alt text, the alternative text. Again, when you upload the photos, all of these little boxes are just fields that you can fill in. The alt text improves accessibility for people who have vision issues. So this is an electronic reader reading this information. If you include an alt text, you want to make sure that it is not spammy, that it is descriptive of what the image is and helpful. So if it is a photo of a red dress, of a woman wearing a red dress, then you might use an alternative text of woman wearing red dress standing outside against a green background or something like that. But again, it helps search engines understand what these images are about. It helps optimize your page, and it is very, very easy to do. It's not challenging. It doesn't even take very long depending on how many images you have. So those would be the top things that I would suggest for local SEO for doing that. Next up is Google My Business. You have to use it. It's free. It's very easy to use, very easy to set up, very easy to optimize, and then just get in the habit of posting to it once or twice a week. And this does not have to be original, sterling content that nobody else sees. If you're posting on Instagram, copy, paste, put it on Google My Business also. And again, this is a chance to optimize your search terms. And again, even for Instagram and for TikTok, use those descriptions in the captions because those are SEO based. They are moving away from hashtags as a sorting system to actual search terms. So if you have a photo of a woman wearing a red dress that is for sale, you want to make sure all of that is also in your caption. Because again, computers can see photos, but they don't have the context that we do as humans quite yet. So make sure that you are adding really descriptive captions to your Google My Business, to your Instagram, to your TikTok when you are doing sales posts or when you are sharing what you do or what you have. All of that can really help you with your local SEO and also general usability for your customers too. Another component to Google My Business is requesting reviews. So you don't want necessarily 20 reviews to pop out of thin air overnight, but if you get in the habit of asking people for reviews after they have worked with you, that can be really helpful. It sends signals to Google that you are a real business. When you come up, if somebody is searching, if your business comes up, a bunch of reviews where people think you're awesome always looks good. And you can even automate the process of asking people for reviews as either part of their exit interviews, or there are also programs that you can pay for where when somebody goes through your system at the end, it was like, would you like to leave a Google review? And that's a very easy way to do that. Now, one of the things that comes up, and I actually have an entire podcast episode about what to do if you get a bad review, so you can go listen to that one also. But what happens if you get a bad review on Google, right? Like that's kind of scary to think that somebody could leave you a review and maybe it wouldn't be good. One of the things that I like to remind people of is that when you are responding to a bad review, you are not just responding to that single person's review. You are responding to everybody who is ever going to read it. And as you know, nothing on the internet goes away. We know that we can go back and we can see a Google review for a business from 2014. So it's not going away. But if you respond clearly, confidently, helpfully in a non-combative way, that is really the best way to handle it. And again, I give you more techniques in that other podcast. I don't want to go into it in this one so that this doesn't get too long, but there is a way to handle reviews. Related to Google My Business are directory listings. And for local businesses, this is very easy and very boring and is a free thing. This is not a thing that you should be paying for. But it is very helpful, again, so that search engines understand that you are a real business, you are located in a specific spot, and they can help nail down your address. So you just go to something like Yelp. Don't ever give Yelp money. They're terrible. But do claim your Yelp listing. Do claim your Yellow Pages listing. I know, it's so ridiculous. Nobody uses Yellow Pages as a website. The easiest way to find this is to go to moz.com/local, and you can enter in your address and your zip code and the name of your business, and it will show you all of the different ways that you can have a directory listing, all of the different services. And again, all of these will try to get you to pay, but they are all free. You just have to kind of click around to find that option. You can also pay Moz to update your directory listings for you, and it's just a couple $100, so that might be a better option for you. One of the things I say when you are updating your directory listings is to please make sure that you are completely filling it out, using those keywords like we talked about, adding photos. If they give you a spot for 10 photos, add 10 photos. Save your passwords for all of the places that you are logging into or creating accounts to do this. Because if you ever change your address, or if you ever move or your hours change or your name changes or your focus changes or any of those things, you will want to go and update all of that information everywhere. And again, it's very boring. It's not hard. It's very boring, but it really does help with local SEO. And not at all related, because I've said this is related to every single topic that I've talked about, but I guess it kind of is. If you have, let's say, an Instagram account, go ahead and put your address. Make sure that your address is listed on your Instagram account, either in your bio or in a map link or something like that, so that somebody can find you if they discover you on social media. That is a thing that can get overlooked. Also putting your hours there, because the more information that you give somebody who is finding you for the first time, the more trust that they will have in you. Because you seem like a real business, your hours are there, your phone number is there, nothing about you seems sketchy. They will be more interested in coming to check you out than if it seems like they can't tell if you're a real business or if you're just an online boutique or any of those things. And again, if you get a bad review, you need to deal with it. And again, I have the podcast episode about that. So you can go listen to that one to learn how to deal with reviews if you get them on different social media platforms. And at the end of the day, the local SEO is just a little bit different than, say, an e-commerce SEO or something else, which is why I wanted to cover it in this podcast episode, because it is something that most local small business owners don't think about or don't understand. And there are so many small things that you can do to really help you get found above your competitors. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Obviously, this is all things that you can hire out for, but a lot of this is things that you can do on your own, at least to get started while you are moving up to the point where you can hire it out. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, please email me, gwen@gwenmontoya.com, and I can probably send you some resources. If you're looking for ongoing marketing support, please reach out to me. That's what I do. I make marketing not scary. I help you market better to help you reach your goals. And I will see you next time.